Very, very important news to share, folks. Notre Dame, by beating Georgia Tech, has a 63% chance to make the college football playoff per ESPN's FPI. Again, folks, if you hadn't heard it yet, I want to share it again. Tim, it was ridiculous. I mean, ESPN, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I said this with Kyle on Saturday. They own the playoffs. They got to talk about it. And then what game was I watching? I had one that was on the DVR or whatever I was watching the other day, and it was CBS had their metrics too. Who else? I had some other game I started watching. I was like, holy crap, it's all over the place. Everybody. But it's the playoffs. And before we dive into it, it's the most exciting thing, Mike. Come on. How many times do we know 2, 3 out of the 4 already before a season? This year, it's freaking chaos, man, and I love it. It is awesome.
No longer the Alabama Invitational. So that much is very nice. I'm Mike Singer, and next to me on the screen is the great Tim Hyde. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content. Yes, I am back. I missed you guys a little bit. Preoccupied the past 5 days with the birth of my firstborn. Little baby girl was born Thursday at 3:59 p.m. So that has been taking up a lot of my attention, but I got the okay from the wife, and my mother-in-law is staying with us right now. So got to do the show tonight, which I'm very, very excited about, but not going to lie, the little pit in my stomach being like, oh man, I hope everything's okay downstairs with the girls, but
you'll be okay for a few minutes, Mike.
We'll be okay.
Enjoy the rest when you get it.
Definitely have been doing that. So Tim, as it has become customary on this show, talk a little bracketology, bubble watch, whatever you want to call it, to start the show. This is from Ari Wasserman. His bracket has Notre Dame as the 9 seed playing Tennessee on the road. That would be fun.
Hey, I predicted on Saturday, my prediction was what? I had Notre Dame 8, Tennessee 9. That was my little forecasting, the Tim Hyde bracketology. So look at that. I just noticed that. It's good stuff.
Sometimes I forget. Are these projections for what these guys think, or is it, if it happened right now?
No. They're not going on the AP poll and then it coaches poll and all that junk. This is their projections moving forward.
The AP poll we've been talking a lot about, Tim.
I love the AP.
I have been liking a lot of tweets recently, so I got to find this one because this one is pretty. Okay, here it is. Here we go.
You got
Notre Dame football Discord tweeted at Kate Rogerson, did you forget to include Notre Dame on your AP ballot, or do you not believe they're one of the top 25 best teams? And she said, total mistake by me. I inserted my ballot incorrectly, but Notre Dame should have been ranked 13. I get it. It's an honest mistake by Kate. I get it. But everyone's all up in arms about the AP poll. You literally have someone just forgetting. So who gives a rat's freaking ass? Notre Dame, where they're ranked in the AP. Who gives a again? I don't care. The AP poll means jack shit. It doesn't mean anything.
Hey, the Notre Dame Twitterverse, the Twitter glitterati's out there are just, I mean, I like to go on Twitter. I tell you all the time, I like to go at night, just read some of the news. The algorithms, it's flooded with all these, youngsters complaining about AP poll ranking. That means 0 on October 10th. But, oh my God, you got him 15th. Who cares?
It doesn't, yeah.
Who cares? You got to win. Seriously, it's to the point. And Goolsby talked about this as he has the last couple of weeks. It's 1 week at a time, man. It's like, if you don't stop the option, who gives a damn, right? Yeah. So it's just like, hey, just keep the thing going, man. Enjoy it. It all works itself out for those that were around back in the old days called 2012, that were actually around as Notre Dame fans back then. It's the same thing, man. It works itself out and you get into title crunch. So
yeah,
I got one loss and then I get people complaining, well, our win's better than that loss. It all works itself out, man. Enjoy it. If you look at every analytics out there, all of them, there's so many, there's great ones out there. Notre Dame is a consensus 7-10. And like 4 or 5 guys that I follow, they put all this stuff out there. Yeah, the ESPN power ratings, I think you have some 10. So they are a damn good football team.
And
the committee gets all this stuff. So, and I think the first committee vote comes out after the FSU game, if I remember right, I saw. So, bam, handle the option this week. Enjoy a bye, spank FSU. Dude, they're gonna be in the top 10. So, and lastly on that thing is Notre Dame fans, go to Google and just look at some of these schedules, man. So many teams are going to just be playing each other. I mean, there's a playoff game this week. LSU's in a playoff game the next 2 weeks. They have a bye, but at A&M and host Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, those are playoff games.
You lose both of those and your 3 losses.
And LSU is easy. If we win at A&M and beat A&M at home, they're in the SEC championship game. So it's in the same thing last week with Rocky Top and Alabama. That was a de facto knockout game. Tennessee's got I hate to say the word easy schedule. They'll lose to Georgia. Let's just assume they lose to Georgia. Tennessee's at 10-2. They're in the playoffs. They have locked themselves in a playoff spot already, as long as you don't stub your toe in something. So the same thing. You got Penn State still has. I'm telling you, if Penn State wins at Wisconsin, Notre Dame fans, you must root for Wisconsin this week. You must root for A&M this week. Not you, because you want to get Penn State with the loss before they even play the Buckeyes. And obviously LSU, let's knock them out of there with A&M and keep going strong. So,
but like we just said, with all that being said, it's going to work itself out. It'll work
itself out, man. There are some amazing, amazing games. And then just real quick, I was someone posted like the Big Ten. Do you know it's like Indiana? What is it? Indiana, Oregon. Was it Penn State? Maybe Penn State. All of them could finish the season like 11-1, tied for first place. It's like, this shit's crazy, Mike. It's awesome. But I love it. I love the bracketology. I love looking forward, but it's meaningless if you get another loss. And that's as I've been saying the last few weeks. You're eligible, man. You got 0-1 losses. You're in the hunt. As soon as you get to 2, you go up on the whiteboard and everyone starts evaluating you. So 1 loss, 0 losses, automatically in.
Yeah.
I think moving forward. So, and I saw the Athletic does a good one there on the New York Times where they do a constant updating of all their analytics. And they had Notre Dame, right here. They have Notre Dame hosting Clemson in the 8-9 game. So they've had Notre Dame consistently in theirs over the last 3 weeks. So
yeah.
People are seeing it. You just got to keep believing it, guys.
Yeah. So if they went out, they'll probably finish somewhere between 8 and 11, which,
yes,
I mean, with a loss to NIU on your resume, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, I said this, though, after sometime after the NIU game, soon afterwards. It's like, actually, I've talked about this a lot, how much like the committee views quality wins. They'll take a loss or two if you have just these quality wins. And that A&M game is looking more and more quality. And Tim,
yes,
I mean, when Notre Dame was playing Georgia Tech, I had a 2-day-old, so I was in and out of watching that game. But I watched the condensed version back on ACC's YouTube. 22-minute game highlight.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking to myself, and we'll talk about the Tech game because obviously I didn't get to do my post game show with you. Kyle Kelly did an incredible job filling in. Was this team, if they played NIU right now, they would beat the living shit out of them. I mean, Notre Dame is Tim. Do you feel like they're a different team, especially offensively? Defense has been great all season, but offensively, Tim. Like, I really think the committee is, if they have half a brain, they can say that Notre Dame is a completely different team than week 2.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the committee, they know this. I mean, NIU it was a hangover game. You hate to say it, but it's the same thing for Alabama. Obviously, Alabama and Vanderbilt was the ultimate hangover game with that emotional victory against Georgia. but now they just lost to their arch. Basically, I mean, Tennessee and Alabama is a massive rival, so
Yeah.
they lost that. Now they got 2 losses, so now the committee starts to look at that. Is that second loss? Now that first loss starts to look
worse.
more real.
Sure.
So but the NIU game, it was, dude, it was right after an emotional road win. I know I said on the post game show with Kyle, that's one of my top 10 favorite games. I don't know why. I just love the
Which one, Tim? I'm sorry.
The A&M game.
Yeah.
I mean, just the emotion, a fan, the kickoff, winning on the road. Kyle Field's legit. It is a legit home field advantage, and hopefully that place is rocking Saturday and knocks out the fighting Brian Kellys and knocks them out of the playoff hunt. So it's real. So that's a huge win. You're right. They got the horrible loss, but they got a great win, especially of A&M. Dude, I can't even imagine like Horka and all his Texas buddies. Like if A&M and Texas are 10-1, dude. What is the price for a ticket at College Station for that game? Because that's a play. I mean, that's going to be for an SEC playing game for the title game. It's going to be a freak show. Yeah. So, I hope we see it, because that just boosts Notre Dame up even more, as we keep talking about. Really, the goal now is to get to that 8 seed. You want to get to that 8.
Yeah.
And it's hard because of that loss. Yeah, you have wins. People hate me when I say this, but I'm going to say it again, Mike. You're only playing 8 power conference games. And I'm sorry, that matters. People think, it's Army, Navy. They're having hell of a year, all that good stuff. But it's still, it's 2 mid-level, group of 5, pro. It is. People hate that, but it's true.
Well, not mid-level group of 5s. They're clearly on the high end of the group of 5.
Oh, no, exactly this year. But I'm just saying overall. And, when you compare them to teams that are playing 10 Power 4 conference games, you know what I mean? 10, some teams are playing 11. Those things matter when you are fighting for that home game. So me personally, I think some of these teams are going to get a nod ahead of Notre Dame at 11. I'm assuming Notre Dame's 11-1. I'm knock on wood thinking ahead. I don't want to talk about the Pop-Tarts, even though I had Pop-Tarts this morning, by the way.
Did you?
Oh yeah. Outstanding blueberry.
What's your blueberry? Okay.
Oh, blueberry. I got a box. Wife hates it. I have them, dude. Just between me and you and the few other guys, I have them hidden. She has no clue where they're at, so she gets mad when I buy them. But anyway,
well, I hope it's all about the show.
It's all about putting the kids to bed. It's all about getting that 8 seed. And me personally, I think Notre Dame gets it 11-1. I truly do.
Yeah.
Carr says they're not getting a home game. I'm with you, Jay. It's tough. I think they will get an 8 seed, because there's going to be so many of these guys not to live in with each other.
Oh,
I think they're going to get that 8-9, because that 8-9 game is just like it is in the NCAA in March Madness and the toss-ups. I think they're going to put Notre Dame in a toss-up game against Tennessee, a Texas, a Clemson, a Miami, someone like that.
Big difference is that NCAA tournament is neutral site.
Yeah,
you go at Clemson, at Tennessee. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be so much fun. But again, like I keep coming back to, you lose against NIU, you take what you can get. In my opinion, you can't lose. And if you can make the playoff with an NIU loss on your resume, and then not. Again, A&M could be a marquee win. It is shaping up to be one right now, but really nothing home to be writing. Nothing to write home about afterwards. So FSU's down. USC just lost to Maryland. And here's Andy Staples bracketology. Go ahead, Tim.
No, I was going to say, and Army Navy's going to play there's no way they're going to get their only loss is going to come to Notre Dame. I looked at unless they just stub their toe against Tulane or somebody. These guys,
or the Bulls.
They're going to play each other twice in the conference title game, and then the next week in Philadelphia. So that's great. That will obviously help Notre Dame to a T, in the overall metrics, because I remember reading, it's probably Heather Dinich who always dives into this stuff. They kind of don't look at the top 25, but they do a top 40, and kind of like the NCAA March, going back to March Madness. But the football committee looks at a top 40. How many wins do you have in that top 40? Army, Navy being 12-1. One of those will definitely be in that for the committee. So that's definitely important. Quick note. I'm diving at, dude. I'm like diving into so many schedules. Game of the week outside of Notre Dame, obviously. Boise at UNLV Friday night on television.
Fun.
So you're going to be up late feeding Boise at UNLV. That is going to be awesome. So that place is going to be rocking. But some great games coming up. Big Ten's got some good ones. I saw someone in the Penn State. We got to root for Wisconsin. Go Luke Fickell. Get that thing rocking.
For Notre Dame to get that 8 seed, you need chaos, right? You just need.
Yeah, there needs to be a handful.
Indiana needs to lose, right? You need like Penn State to lose
You
Wisconsin. Just
can't have
teams just keep losing.
Let's just look at this. I'm sorry. You don't want 11-1 Penn State to only have their only loss Ohio State. IU to be 11-1, their only loss Ohio State. You know what I mean? You want some of those guys to have 2 losses. You have to. That's why this week Washington College Game Day, go ruin College Game Day down there in Bloomington. The Huskies. I think they're going to lose the next week at Michigan State, who keeps improving. So that emotional high, you know what I mean, when you're going on the road, that may hit the Hoosiers the following week. So someone talked about Texas. Yeah, Texas, the national guys that do the Yahoo one. Who is that? Oh my God, Ross Dellinger and 40 and those guys. They were killing Texas. Sorry, Tyler, if you're listening. They were breaking down who they've played. It is atrocious. I mean, they played nobody. It's so bad. I mean, it's bad. So they hammered them, talking about Texas may not get in as a 10-2 because their schedule is so soft this year. So it's fascinating when you dive into it. It's just fun. I enjoy it.
Tyler Fisher says you like UNLV or Boise State's in.
Boise State's been the gold standard for that whole West, basically the whole group of 5, the Mountain West, the old WAC. Boise's been it. And we want Boise to win. We want that running back to get 2,500 yards rushing, and we want him going pro. We don't want to see that guy in South Bend. I'm going to say that every damn week. Golden doesn't like to stop the run. We don't want to see the Boise running back. We want to see Boise coming in next year, 4 wides and slinging it.
Tyler, thanks for the 2. Real quick, this was from Mark. Which would you prefer, making the playoffs but lose by multiple scores, or win another meaningless bowl game? I said make the playoffs, set a precedent, round 1 loss, ground floor. What do you think, Tim? Although Mark, hold on. Mark, I'm pretty sure you were like Final Four or bust, but now you're saying round 1 loss is the ground floor expectations.
Well, hey, I'll stick up for Mark real quick. The Final Four or bust was before 17 injuries, okay? Before third string D linemen have to now start. Your fourth corner and Leonard Moore is now corner number 1. You know what I mean?
Some of those things were not an issue for the NIU game, but go on.
Oh God, yeah. O-line. I've said this. I love all the Notre Dame fans in the Notre Dame world that wants to hammer the Notre Dame O-line, yet Emil Wagner's the only one starting that left spring ball starting. So that's a whole rehash. So for me, I know Singer's going to agree because I know what he's going to say. Always, you got to get in the playoffs. Winning the Pop-Tarts, our friend down in El Paso, who I shout out all the time, we love you at the Sun Bowl. Those are meaningless. What do you get out of that? What do you get out of beating a team that's going to be half of their guys are going to the portal? 0. So give me on the road losing to Tennessee 31-17 over winning Michigan State in the East Lansing Bowl, right?
Yeah, it's such a dumb question, Mark. I'm saying it's a dumb question because I love you, Mark. But like, what are we talking about? Of course, like what? No one cares. Now, if maybe 7, more than 10 years ago, there's a discussion about would you rather lose in the championship game or win the Rose Bowl or something like. Then that's maybe more of a discussion. I get that, but no, this one, come on.
No, I like Jay Carter. Yeah, Bloomin' Onions. I love Bloomin' Onions. No Outback Bowl. We don't want to see the Outback. They already got that trophy from 2 years ago, right? So you don't need 2 of them in the office. Yeah, Goolsby wants the bowl win. I don't understand.
Does he really? He would say bowl. He would say Pop-Tarts bowl.
Yeah, I have no idea. That I don't agree with that mindset whatsoever. That is
I would want
your logo. Hold on, Mike. You want your logo on the screens, right? On the ESPN screens when those things are announced and they're talked about for 2 weeks. You want your name on the logo. You don't want your name on the what is it when ESPN does the show and they're doing the percentages and all that, all the minor bowls. You don't want to be on that show.
Yeah. Let me okay. Lux says would 100% rather be snubbed and win a useless game than the same old embarrassment on the national stage.
Why?
I get that, but listen. Here's the thing: this whole discussion is, I mean, it's a dumb discussion to begin with because you this is not reality, right? You don't get to have that outcome and then say, well, would you rather go now win the Pop Tart Bowl instead of this? Like, yeah, I would rather win the Pop Tart Bowl than lose by 40. Sure, Lux, to your point, I would rather have that as well. But I think our point is, even if Notre Dame sneaks into the playoff and they're playing in the 5-12 game or something,
Yeah.
I would rather take that. You have to get to the big dance. You have to get there. You have to give yourself a chance. Go get an upset. Like I guess my point is I would rather risk the blowout loss, have that first major postseason win in decades, than just avoid a potential blowout and then go beat Oregon State and the Pop Tart Bowl. And I don't want to speak too much about what Goolsby said. I didn't watch it. He's not here to defend himself. But I'm sure Goolsby has a
Well,
good take
he
on
said
it.
that on your show, I think, before, something of that nature. And I know there's other Notre Dame fans I know have talked about this on the message board, Twitter, and in the chat that agree with that as well. But what do you want, Mike Singer, or all the Notre Dame fans? Do you want Emil Wagner getting reps in the playoffs? Do you want Christian Gray, Adon Schuler, KVA, Drake Bowen? Do you want those guys playing in a playoff game, getting that experience to see what that feels like? They're all going to be playing the next 3 years still at Notre Dame. Or do you want to go, like I said, go beat Michigan State in the Detroit Bowl on December 24th?
Yeah.
No, you want to be in the game. You want to be in the game.
Yeah, I think what Ryan says kind of sums up my thought. I'd rather have a chance to get blown out than not have a chance at all to win. So again, yeah.
And let's say, just real quick, the last time Notre Dame was in one of those bowl games, they blew a 21-point lead. Okay, so damn it, they could have won a damn one. So it's not they're always blown out. So yeah, and let's remind the two Alabama and the Clemson ones that we all remember, obviously, are three of the best teams of all time. So
Right.
Pick the wrong year to make those title games or those big games that are Notre Dame.
Tim, how often do we get in these kind of discussions for 23 minutes and agree across the board? It happens.
I love it.
Rarely. I love it too, my friend.
Well, you're a father now. You're a father now, so yeah. So now we agree.
Yeah. Tim's a dad. I'm a dad now. We just see eye to eye on things. I guess it'll be short lived, folks. If you're going to want to go to a Notre Dame college football playoff game, we got an opportunity for you, and it is by checking out Gametime. You're going to love watching it. Again, if Notre Dame makes the college football playoff, you're going to love watching it from your couch. I get it, but you're going to want the opportunity to go there live, which is where we're going to talk about Gametime, a fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, and theater near you with killer last-minute ticket deals, so you can just get relaxed and hyped up for that fun that you are going to have. Gametime, super easy to manage website, all sorts of cool features. You got Gametime Picks. It makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live super easy. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You got the all-in pricing. Toggling this feature on shows the total up front, so you have no surprise fees at checkout. You can also check out seat views to get a panoramic shot from your seat in the app before you buy, so you can see exactly what it'll look like from your seat, and you'll get the lowest price guaranteed, or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying concert or sporting event, comedy, whatever the case may be here. Take the guesswork out with Gametime. Download the app, create an account, and use the promo code ON3 for $20 off your first purchase. So you're even getting a nice little deal for yourself with that $20 off your first purchase using the promo code ON3. Terms apply, folks. Again, create that account, redeem code ON3 for $20 off. Download Gametime, last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. I'm sure tickets are dirt cheap. I noticed that too. Usher at the United Center in a week from now. So if you want to go see Usher, you can do that.
Is that I'm not even gonna comment. I'm not gonna say anything.
Thank you, Tim. I
No.
don't know, but I thank you. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video to help support what we're doing here at Blue and Gold. Subscribe to our channel, of course, if you are new here. Tim, I think that wraps out the kind of the bracketology. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I put in the headline how the Irish fit into the national landscape because this is, if we're going to be honest, after the post game shows, we're going to talk about the nitty gritty of the games and stuff. But for this Tuesday show during the season, I love just talking about college football and where things stand. So, anything else before well, I just said, we don't dive as much into the nitty gritty of the games, but I didn't get to do the post game show. So, I do want to talk about the Georgia Tech game. But before we do, Tim, and anything else about the national landscape that you would want to talk about?
No, I think that's perfect. Like I said, there's a couple, analytics guys. I mean, I'm looking at 3 of them right here that are boom. Notre Dame's in the top 10. They're right there. They are a top 10 football team. Don't worry about the AP poll. Don't worry about somebody that doesn't even forgets to put Notre Dame on. But how the hell do you forget that? That is the funniest thing. But hey, she owned up. Kudos to her. So it is.
Yeah.
But Notre Dame's right there. You win out, guys. Just like Mike said, they're going to be right on that 8, 9. They're going to be right there. They are. They just are. They're Notre Dame. They're going to want to be in this thing. The TV is going to be booming, all that stuff, especially at home, man. Finish 11-1. I'm telling you, 11-1. They're going to be the 8 seed. It's my gut. I feel it, Mike. I feel it.
Man, you got to wonder if like the playoff committee is like on the line with ESPN for that 8-9 game. And ESPN is like, oh man, okay, so we know it's going to be Notre Dame, Tennessee. Where do we want this game? Because ESPN,
it's going to be the Friday. Some guys in the committee, if you could pull it, or the committee, geez, guys in the chat, if they could pull it up quick. I think there's a Friday night only game. I'm telling you, that's going to be the 8-9 South Bend Friday night prime time, ass kicking, let's get after it type of game. So, and lastly, before we even jump into Georgia Tech, excuse me. 11-1. I mean, 11-1 would mean a hell of a comeback, seriously, for Marcus Freeman.
Yeah.
I mean, let's all be real. After NIU, we're like, yeah, this is 9-3. Pop-Tarts, get them ready. Which is your favorite frosted? Are you a toast guy or a plain guy out of the foil wrapper? Seriously, that was the conversation. And if they finish strong, beat 2 of the best Army-Navy teams, seriously, since the 60s, for crying out loud, since they had Heisman Trophy winners back then, is awesome. And you still have to go to SC. I think SC doesn't leave the West Coast. I think they're going to regroup, rebound, get a little rally here at the end of their season. So going to the Coliseum would be a hell of an accomplishment to finish this thing out. So, which really goes right back to where they were with the expectations of this season, and to regroup after NIU would be a great accomplishment, for Freeman and the program.
Got to shout out Home Field, our sponsor for the Goolsby show. This is one of my, I was going to put on a college shirt, Tim, but then I just ran out of time. I was like, you know what? Got to stay cozy. But yeah, I love this Home Field shirt.
That's a great one. Yeah, I like that one.
But yeah, it's like, do you want to go to Notre Dame, or do you want to go to Neyland? It's like, it could be interesting.
You want South Bend Friday night prime time. Everyone, light your Catholic candles. Start praying. If you're in South Bend, bam, go throw some pennies in the grotto and let's get going, right? And find a wishing well, get it going. You want the 8-game Friday night, and we'll be rocking.
When you talked about the rebound 11-1, I was thinking, man, you don't choke against NIU and lose that game. We're talking about Notre Dame in the 5-12, and now you're playing Boise.
Notre Dame is probably number 3 this week in the polls, 2 or 3. Because the way A&M's playing, they get their mojo. I mean, they are. Who is it right now? Oregon. I mean, Notre Dame would be probably number 2, right? No, Georgia's 2. I would put Notre Dame number 3 in the polls, easily above Penn State. Ohio State's got a loss. It's a heartbreaker to Oregon.
Yeah, but then you have that marquee win over A&M without the NIU loss. I could see them being above a one-loss Georgia. I don't know, but
Yeah, they're right there. You're right. That's the 5-12 Boise game, right?
and
Or
then
5.
you are getting a BYU in the next game, or
Yeah,
Clemson.
Kansas State. Yeah,
It's
you want to play?
tough.
Yeah, I'll play Kansas
It's
State in the
tough.
Peach Bowl. Instead, that 8-9 game, Mike. Where are you going in the next round? Road trip. You're going to the Sugar Bowl or back down to Atlanta and play Georgia. Georgia's not losing. Those guys are possessed. So, those guys are animals. They're
Okay,
not losing.
so moving to the Georgia Tech game, some quick thoughts for me. Pull up the stats as well. Riley Leonard, 20 of 29, 203 yards, threw the pick, 51 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns on the ground. The guy, he seems like a completely different player throwing the ball. I mean, just much more comfortable in the short passing game. The whole pick to Bo Collins, to be completely honest, I haven't heard what other people are saying about this, so I don't know what the consensus is on that pick. Could Collins have kept running and made more of a play on the ball? Yes. Would it have done anything personally? I don't think so. I think that ball was overthrown
Yeah,
and it was just going to be picked. Did Bo Collins let up because he knew it was going to be picked? Maybe. Do we all want to see him make an effort on that play? Yes. But I played receiver in high school many pounds ago. A ball sails super high on you. And I remember people said, "Oh, why did you jump for that ball?" I'm like, it was 15 feet above my head. What do you want me to do? It's just one of those. I don't know.
Hops,
We would
Mike.
love to see him make a play on the ball, but that pass was getting picked. Running backs, Tim, man, they look tremendous. Jadarian Price, his cuts, he looked great. O-line, Notre Dame ran for 168. Did Leonard get sacked, Tim?
No. He had a couple scrambles, which he ran into the freaking edge.
No sacks?
Yeah.
Line played well. I haven't looked at the PFF. Good to see Mitchell Evans snag a few passes. Bo Collins is continuing to show that he's wide receiver 1. But my biggest takeaway offensively from this game, Tim, is Jeremiah Love is so freaking talented. I know he only had 2.6 yards per carry, but when I watched that condensed game back again, folks, if you're just joining us, I watched bits and pieces of the game live with my 2-day-old girl, and then watch the condensed version back. But it just seems like Jeremiah Love, between the 36 rushing yards and then the 57 yards receiving, he's just such a playmaker. Like, Notre Dame legitimately has one of the most talented players in the country. Anything else offensively that I wanted to touch on? I don't think so. Defensively, shout out to Adon Schuler with that pick 6. Xavier Watts, who was, Tim, if you remember, he was my team MVP in the preseason. And then you kind of talked me out of it. I didn't back off of it because it was already done.
Yeah.
But you're like, man, if your safety is your MVP, it's probably not a good thing. You said something to that effect. Glad I stuck with that because Xavier Watts has been absolutely
unbelievable.
Absolutely balling out. Drake Bowen, what can you say about Drake Bowen? The guy is just an absolute beast.
He gets better every that kid. And we can find old cut ups from me talking about him. Like, I just never knew what he was going to do. Is he another Drew White type of a guy from 2021? No, he is.
Yeah.
Drake Bowen and Clark, those two guys, man, I could eat all my words on those two. Those two guys have been absolutely massive for Notre Dame and constantly just keep rising up every single game.
Yeah. Yeah. Drake, I remember seeing him at the All-American Bowl, in 7-on-7, trying to cover a wheel route 30 yards downfield. I'm thinking to myself, this is never going to be Drake Bowen in college. But, he was, a big dude, little, Goolsby has talked about that. He's not the most, dynamic athlete sideline to sideline, but the dude is just, he flies around and he hits you like a truck. Drake Bowen really ascending. Leonard Moore, Tim, do you like Leonard Moore? I thought he competed his ass off, played pretty well.
Yeah. He had 2 pass breakups. It felt like he had 6.
Yeah.
He was all over the place because they were attacking him like crazy. He was, no, I mean, for his first start, are you kidding me? A freshman, another summer enrollee, Mike, right? How many times have we talked about who's that summer enrollee?
Okay, I was
Put him
thinking
on your
about
list.
Okay, let's go through that real quick. 2020
Yeah,
or 2019 was Kyle Hamilton. This is
yeah,
just since I started covering Notre Dame. 2019, the summer enrollee as true freshman that impacted the team. Kyle Hamilton, 2019. 2020's Clarence Lewis. 2021, Joe Alt.
yes,
2022, Ben Morrison.
yep.
23.
I don't think there was really one last year, right? You could look real quick, but I don't.
Yeah,
I
let me pull up
I
the
know every time
23
we get to
class.
23, we kind of. I mean, Christian Gray, he was not an early enrollee, but he kind of got better as the year went on, but not at that level of the other guys. I'm just sorry. There wasn't really a big freshman, right?
In terms of a summer guy,
No, because Flores were there. Great House was already there.
yeah, Bubakar looked good, but he didn't play a ton.
Yeah,
Cooper Flanagan?
Flanagan probably had the most run. Yeah. If you're going to make a list, then Cooper would be last year's top
Yeah.
summer guy.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he
And
did.
then this year, right?
It is Leonard Moore.
Right? Yeah, KVA's already there.
KVA was there in
Bryce
January.
Young's already there.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it was a huge spring enrollee group, so
Yeah.
it might be only Leonard Moore.
And then
That's a good group of football players.
It's so good. I mean, that 24 class was Great House was winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Riley Mills and Howard Cross. I mean, Cross didn't light up the stat sheet, but it just seems like those two guys are continuing to play their best football, especially Mills these past few weeks. So pretty, Tim, I know this was a talking point for you, is like better win than fans are giving credit for.
Oh, yes. I mean, yes. Georgia Tech was a good football team. And, and you talk about this more than I do about we didn't win 49-14, so it's not good enough. You know what I mean? That type of a tone. But it's like, go down on the road, really good physical football team. A Georgia Tech offensive line that came into this game with 160 starts, Mike. Their tailback just ripped off 200 yards the week before. They're 100. I mean, he's one of the top tailbacks in the ACC. What do you get? 2 yards a carry. 2 yards a carry. So we always talk about the youth on the Notre Dame line. They got nothing but experience, and Notre Dame absolutely just knocked the living crap out of these guys. Swarmed them. Pressures all over the place. The interceptions. I think it's a hell of a win. And I even go, especially the first half. We could sit here and be frustrated as Notre Dame fans. Well, we only had 14 points. You only had the ball twice. And one of the possessions was a stupid throwaway interception and him just chucking the damn thing down the middle of the field. So then you get back to back. Look at those drives.
Yeah.
And then there's been this tone on the board, the loose emoji message board, Twitter, things of that nature of, did the O-line play good? Was the running attack really good? Mike, this rush defense of Georgia Tech came into the game only giving up 3.5 yards a carry and 103 yards a game. Notre Dame, they had and you know me, I'm a big run game efficiency guy, meaning if it's 3rd and 2 and you get 3 yards, first down, that's efficiency. 1st and 10, you get 4, efficiency. Notre Dame's running efficiency in this game was 61%. 61%. So that is ass-kicking football, if you ask me. That is really good, especially when because fans think the strong safety coming off the weak side makes a tackle for loss. Oh, my God, the O-line sucks. No, that's the 8th guy, and there's 7 blockers, right? No one can block that guy. And there's one. We talk about Jeremiah Love. There's one play, oh, my God, I want to scream in the 3rd quarter. If he just cuts to the left, there's a B gap for about 6 miles. He has a 50-yard back in, close my eyes, walk in touchdown. And he runs right into the Mike backer. It's like, dude, just cut. So a handful of those. Pendleton got swam twice. Coogan, Rocco got split on a double team. Outside of that, man, I thought those guys played their asses off. So, and just something I just did actually today. I started thinking about, and you brought this up, the Price-Love combo. And this is what I want Notre Dame fans to think about. if they were one guy, just look at these stats, Mike. If they were just one guy, because we always talk about Thielen, how he rotates so much, it gets frustrating. But I really didn't even think of this and really until today. I started breaking it down. I'm like, what if these are one guy and we quit bitching about who's getting the carries? We need more carries, right? So Price and Love had 135 yards, 6.1 average in A&M. If that's one guy, that's pretty good, right? NIU 103 sucks, but 6.9 yards a carry. They only touched the ball 15 times. Mike Denbrock, he's chucking it all over the place. Purdue 10.8 yards a carry together. Miami 5.8 yards a carry combined. Louisville, they got their ass kicked against the run. That's Louisville's best game of the year. They only have 52 yards combined, 3.7 carry. Not good. That's their worst of the year. Stanford, 5.7 yards a carry. And Georgia Tech, they had over 100 yards and 4.8 yards a carry. So I'm thinking if this is Autry Denson back in 1998, one guy running the ball, or estimate one guy running the ball, that's pretty good football. So I think that's another thing. Maybe we look at how Price and Love are two damn good tailbacks. They're big play tailbacks, and let's kind of enjoy them when they're out there. Because, I mean, you had a 23 and a 19 are out of Price. And then, as you were saying, Love is probably 2 cuts away from running for 125 himself in that game. So, just a few things I'm looking at. And that's why I come away watching the game the last couple nights, rewatching it and breaking it down is like, Notre Dame's a good football team. They really are. They're not dynamic outside. We've said that for 3 years. Literally 3 years. But they're efficient and they're making plays. And lastly, to your point, Riley Leonard, I've said this, and I'm going to say it every week. He was 83rd in QBR after NIU, 83rd ranked quarterback in the country. He's up to 23 now, Mike.
Yeah. He's playing well. He's playing well. And Tim, can you knock on wood real quick?
That's all I ever do all day.
He seems to be healthy. I'm sorry. The whole shoulder thing after the NIU game seems to be good.
Yeah.
Is the passing downfield leaving more to be desired? Of course. The Great House one looked good. Like at least he got the ball down there on the Bo Collins pick. At least the ball traveled like 52 yards in the air or something. I was as critical as they come on Riley Leonard after NIU and even I think the Miami of Ohio game but the guy is playing well. And go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and just jumping to that point again, Mike, it goes back to the expectations were just for whatever reason crazy. And I know you and I and Horka and Sobel, when they've been on, it's like, maybe this is who we expected from Riley Leonard. I think he's kind of always been that guy of that. Goolsby talked about this 1,000 times on your show in the spring, where he is a developmental guy and he's going to keep getting development. And we've seen the improvement this year, and we just got to trust these coaches and let them see how it goes. And hopefully he torches the hell out of Navy this week, right? And don't chuck it down the middle of the field. No more deep passes down the middle of the field. Can we just get away from those and we'll be okay?
The one at Great House was pretty. Just
quick. Slot. Those are slot fades, not post.
Right. Quick thought about the running backs. Like Notre Dame had a stretch there where you had like your Jafar Armstrongs of the world, and then Lance Taylor, Dylan McCullough. Notre Dame's running back room, it's like a renaissance. It has been stacking talent on talent. You have your RB1, your RB2, and then RB1 goes to the NFL. RB2 steps up. It's just, from Kyron to then Audric, and then Audric to Jay Love. Like then it's been great. I'm loving it. And Jeremiah Love's a sophomore, which I was thinking about that last night. And then I was thinking the NCAA or whoever gets to decide this, is this an NFL draft thing? That the whole 3 and out thing, you have to play 3 years. That feels like it's too player restrictive. I feel like that's going to go away at some point. You have to play till you're 3 years in. I think that's just going to go away at some point.
They've taken that to court and lost. So the NFL has done that. And I'm going to, and just another thing about these 2 running backs, going off of what Horka tweeted and all that, is, once again, sometimes you got to take a step back to look at the big picture and realize Real, I mean, this is the first time Jeremiah Love and Price are the dudes, correct? I mean, this is their first time of like, you're the guy, you're going to be our, the guy we're going to have the action with. You're going to get multiple featured and carries. I mean, these are their first starts. And I think we came into this year because we saw Love, the kickoff return with Price against Southern Cal, Estime, obviously last year, leaving. And then you're like, man, these are still young guys that are going to come back next year. That's why getting in the playoffs, all that damn experience matters. All these old linemen getting so much experience. I added it up the other day. It's like this old line. We talked about 6 starts. They could bring back 50 something starts next year.
Yeah.
It's going to be a night, completely different group. And you still got probably your best football players and Gerby Lambert and Charles Jagasaw waiting in the wings to find their way onto that lineup. Correct? It's crazy.
And speaking of waiting in the wings, Aeneas Williams and Keedron Young, 2 damn good players. Do you want to talk about this as we're on the running backs, Tim? Jeremiah Love has, this is a tweet from Tyler Horga. Jeremiah Love has a broken and or missed tackle on 42.1% of his rushing attempts. That's the number 1 rate in the nation, ahead of Heisman frontrunner Ashton Jeanty over at Boise State, as we've talked about. His is 41.3%. And Jeanty has 50 more carries than Love. Horka adds, if volume was equal, who knows where Love would be.
Well, that's going back to my point I just talked about. If he had the same carries, then Price isn't getting any, and Price is gone, right? So next year, Love's going to be the guy. Does another running back leave? Correct. I mean, who wants to sit around and wait their time and watch at Notre Dame? I think that goes back to, I get frustrated. Believe me, I've been a coach. I fed the rock 35 times to my tailback, go win me a damn football game. And he did. And we see that at times at Notre Dame where Autry Denson would run the rock. Julius Jones would carry that son of a gun, things of that nature, and just hammer the ball when needed. But McCullough's got a philosophy. It's working. Those running backs believe in it. And that's why I'm like, maybe we start looking at Price Love as one, see what these guys do together. Are they getting 20 touches a game together? And I think so. If they keep doing that, sky's the limit for this offense. But Jeremiah Love, he's a stud, man. And he's still learning. When I watched that Georgia Tech game, it's like, dude, I was screaming, getting mad. It's like, damn it. Because you could just see him exploding on a couple cuts here and there, and it's still a learning process, and all that. His block-in is freakish. I mean, he's Avery Johnson from 1989 at fullback, knocking the shit out of someone. He is awesome. Sorry, I said the S word. So you got to edit that, right? But seriously, he's Avery Johnson. He's the fullback. Mark Edwards in the mid-90s, iconic. Rodney Culver, iconic fullbacks. If he was on the 1993 team playing fullback, we would be like, feed his ass on trap all day with Holtz, and he would just destroy people. So I love it.
All right. So Notre Dame, Navy, Saturday. How about a noon game? I think that's Notre Dame's first noon game of the season. Tim and I will record our Friday preview video. I know there's a lot of people upset in the comments about the one that Kyle and Tim did because of Kyle did his best to edit that video like I do, and people were upset with his music editing. Yeah. Don't you worry about it, guys. I'll take care of it. We'll record that video Thursday night to post Friday, where Tim will give his 3 keys to the game. We'll both give a score prediction for it as well. But just wanted to give you the floor real quick, Tim, as a veteran, talking about Notre Dame Navy. Yeah, and thank you, Tim, for serving our country.
Yeah, Veg Day's coming up, so there we go. But yeah, as far as Navy goes, I'm like every other Notre Dame fan. I hate this game because these guys just come at you for 60 minutes and they're just relentless. But obviously, a crazy guy like me who's in the Marines, you realize, well, my officers are these guys that are playing football. All right, one of my officers played football at Navy, and one played football at Stanford, the ROTC there. So these are the guys that train, play their asses off on Saturdays, play 60 minutes. And then they go teach guys like me how to run up a hill with no fear and do what you got to do. So I love it. And then the other thing, with Notre Dame fans, when we see people on Twitter or in the YouTube comments or social media, or even if the clowns on ESPN say, "Oh, Notre Dame's playing Navy again," blah blah blah. Well, when was the last time USC played Navy? When was the last time Michigan played Navy? Right? Ohio State almost lost to Army a couple years ago with Urban Meyer. It was like 28-27. Urban Meyer's like, "I ain't playing these guys again. These guys don't quit." I mean, seriously, when was the last time an SEC team says, "Yay, Army, Navy, can we play you guys and have you knuckleheads just run out our ass for 60 straight minutes?" No, they don't want to play them. And that's the thing. And I think that's the pride Notre Dame fans should have when you play these guys, because no one will play them because they're terrified. So when Notre Dame has lost a couple times over the last 15 years, people want to make fun of you, yet your team will not play them. And you gotta just take that and just laugh. Seriously, I got buddies. One of my linebacker coaches I've mentioned before, who played for Lloyd Carr at Michigan. I tell him all the time, "When the hell are you guys playing Navy, huh?" I mean, seriously, when do you guys want to stop the triple option for 3 freaking hours? You don't. So it's awesome. I've talked about my grandfather was a World War II vet, Pearl Harbor. He told the story. He was hanging out having a cup of coffee and some bombs start dropping. They're like, "What the hell's that?" He goes up top and he's like, "Oh boy, a lot of planes are coming." So he didn't get out of the Navy until the Battle of Okinawa, and then he got his papers and he was done with World War II. So I've been on a ship in the Marines. We went to Somalia. We were on a beautiful ship. Those guys in the Navy, man, they work their asses off. Obviously, the academy is the officers, not the the grunts that I dealt with, the guys that would work 18 hours and stuff of that nature. But it's a great rivalry. It's a great game. I hate it because they don't stop, man. It's like,
you seem to have mixed feelings on it, Tim.
Oh yeah, because I was a Notre Dame fan. I'm like, "Oh my God, just get this thing over with." Is guys that have been around for a long time know. Some of the old guys on the message board have been around since the 60s talking about some of the games. And there's a guy that always, who was at the Staubach game. Roger Staubach played in the 60s. But no, believe me, I'm sitting there where Alan Rossum's chasing the guy down to tackle him at the 1 yard line. The infamous, what year was that? Was that 99? 97 or 99, right? Where they had the famous spot. Notre Dame, the ball short, Mike, 1.5 yards, and the ref marked a first down. Notre Dame won. Got to run out the clock. It's like, oh my God, it was one of the Bob Davie games. The famous Brian Kelly's first game in 2010, when they didn't stop the fullback. He had like 250 yards or whatever the hell it was, something crazy. And Brian Kelly's like, "Yeah, we didn't stop the fullback." And I think Bob Diaco did an interview the next week. He's like, "Yeah, we didn't have a plan B." And it's like, yeah, Notre Dame media didn't like that. They tore him up and he was done.
Then Georgia Tech in what, 09? Talking about triple option?
Was
that 08?
No. 07, they're a regular team. The 15 team was a triple option. Notre Dame beat them in 15.
But wasn't it 2009?
No, they beat Bob Davie. Charlie Weiss's year 3 in 07. Navy. You're talking about Navy. You said Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia Tech in their triple option.
No, they didn't beat Notre Dame. Not Paul Johnson. Johnson is the one that broke the streak back in 07. What was it, 43? And 43 games in a row. That's insane. Which is crazy. You go back
2007, Notre Dame.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, 2007, Georgia Tech 33, Notre Dame 3.
Yeah.
That was a triple option year for Tech. I'm pretty sure Paul Johnson was there.
I thought Johnson went a couple years later.
Hold on.
Yeah, there you go. Your crack staff. But looking at, I mentioned this I think last week or in the show with Kyle. I think when we ended.
You're right. Johnson was the next year. My bad.
Yeah, it was the next year. I mean, this is the highest ranked undefeated team playing Notre Dame since '78. It's pretty awesome. 7-0 Navy that day. So it's going to be they're good, man. They're good. They're really good. They're talented as hell. Hopefully I saw a stat. They played like 5 teams ranked in the 120s. So hopefully a little different caliber of athlete when Notre Dame takes the field and they just overwhelm Navy. That's it. I think everyone listening to the show is going to have fingers crossed and Notre Dame comes out and just takes care of business, win this thing by a few touchdowns, enjoy the bye, and get ready for the Seminoles.
Folks, I'm about to fall asleep. I am short on sleep these days with the birth of my daughter. So we're gonna end the show there.
I love it.
Appreciate you guys for tuning in. It was good for me to be back. I haven't really done yeah, I've done some work call, kind of here and there, but I've been pretty MIA for the past week. So it's good to be back on, especially this YouTube channel for the first time in a week. I guess I popped on your guys' show Saturday night.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
You did
so
real quick.
I did. I have a lot of family over. I was like, sometimes I'm like, there's nothing for me to do. I'm popping on the message board. I'm like, we have like 15 family members over. So it's like, I'm not even getting to see the baby for a while. But anyways, appreciate you guys for watching today's show. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content. Go to blueandgold.com for much more on your Notre Dame Fighting Irish. We're going to end the show there. Appreciate you all. And as always, we're going to catch you next time.